everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. I'm joined by original Halo 2 lead multiplayer designer Max Hoberman. And why is that,
hey, Ryan.
Max? That is because you are personally overseeing at your company, Certain Affinity, the anniversary multiplayer, the 6 maps that you guys are redoing here as part of Halo the Master Chief Collection. And this one is obviously Zanzibar, but per tradition, you have to rename it to something else.
We do, yes. That's mandatory, actually. This map is now called Stone Town.
Why is that?
A little different. I mean, I gave all the original maps their names and picked Zanzibar, which was funny because everyone was like, Zanzibar? That makes no sense. We call maps like Blood Gulch and Sand Trap and things like that. Yeah, Hang 'em High was a good name, but. So it was really contentious, but it became very iconic. I think people really took to the name. So this one was tough to name, but we ended up going back to a reference to Zanzibar. I think, if I recall, Stone Town's part of the old city in Zanzibar.
Oh, interesting.
So still very appropriate.
So this is our first look at the Warthog in this Xbox One engine. You know, this remake engine.
It should look like a Warthog.
Look at that.
It should.
It's a nice suspension there.
Yeah, it should be pretty authentic.
Looking sharp.
We had to do a lot of work to try to get some of this stuff back in its old form, actually.
So of course the original full suite of Halo 2 multiplayer is there. These 6 maps are in addition to that.
I don't think this was on, because I don't think we shipped with this.
Because Halo 3 had
a little bit of a difference.
Though
this was planned for Halo 2, the Mongoose, so it's nice to get it back in there at least.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously those are some of the first. You know, you've got the. You know, this is a new sandbox made to approximate Halo 2, and you've made some changes. One, I'm noticing that on the radar, vehicles show up as with their little vehicle icons.
Yeah. Some of that stuff is stuff we really actually liked a lot from Halo 4 and wanted to carry over. You know, we tweaked the way that some of that stuff worked, but you know, there are some good features there that we wanted to borrow and kind of tweak a little bit to make it work. We were talking about the weapon indicators when we were looking at, I guess, Ascension earlier, Zenith, stuck between the old and new names. But you see the vehicle indicators on there.
So tell me about, obviously, you know, you're going to do 6 remake maps. Zanzibar, this is like probably one of, that's on the must-do list, right? You can't not do this.
It would have been hard not to do Zanzibar. You know, it was such an iconic map. It's the map that we showed off at E3. It was our first, we had it playable over there. And it was
the
really
first time I ever played Halo 2 was at E3, and you know, it was
were you in my room when I was doing the demos?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was very fortunate.
That was a lot of fun. But you know, it's got these kind of iconic elements. It was far and away the most dynamic of all the maps. We really made this map as a kind of a late addition, as an E3 showpiece actually.
Right.
And we made this thing in record time too, and it changed very little.
So yeah, tell me about when rewind to the start of just this project. Obviously, artistically, it's somewhat different. There's graffiti everywhere. It seems.
I don't know if you see graffiti on Halo multiplayer maps.
It's a little sunnier, maybe, than I remember. I mean, art direction, artistically, what's the goal of when you sit down to remake?
You know, this map in particular was so iconic that there's a lot we really wanted to preserve, and I think you get that feel best out here. Yeah. You know, with the seawall and and the ocean, the vista, and the city in the distance, all that stuff. There were some changes that we made even at this level. So if we go up the stairs here, you can see we even have like the broken part of the stairs.
Gotta have it.
But then this is new, all this scaffolding. But you know, this is so iconic visually. We really want to preserve this. But let's see, head back here towards the base.
This looks so good.
That's awesome. We made a few changes, and we really wanted to kind of convert this to be this human base. You kind of see. I guess it always was to a certain extent, but this is where we really took the most liberty to, kind of change it up and make it look a lot different and make it look different than the original and really look like this part of this larger structure right here.
Right, installation.
Yeah. This one, I would say in general, though, we didn't really want to radically alter the visuals of this thing. I need to get some of my environment artists to come talk to you about the choices on here, though. This one I wasn't as involved in, honestly.
When this was remade in Halo 3, it just didn't feel the same. And so, do you go back do you go back and play a bunch of the original Halo 2 variant and then sort of try to remind yourself of the essence of this?
Oh yeah, our guys definitely went back. I mean, I knew this map really, really well, but I know all of our designers went back and artists too, and they played the originals. There's a few differences though. I don't know if anyone noticed just going through this door here, this used to have a pillar right in the middle. We actually felt that it played a lot better to open it up and turn this into a small room.
Right.
So, you know, inside the base is actually changed. There used to be, I think, 4 pillars in here. We changed it to these 2 center pillars and opened it up. It was a little claustrophobic before, tight in places, so we kind of opened it up intentionally. So we took some liberties and we made some changes, but we wanted to preserve the aesthetic and really, we really wanted it to feel like the original. It's just such a classic map, so iconic. And then there's a few changes.
We talked about. What is this?
That's new right there.
Just a little grenade shoot.
Yeah, a little grenade shoot. I think you can duck through there. I think. Well, all right. I hate doing trick jumps on video, but
here we go.
Theory,
no pressure, Max.
In theory,
nice.
Yeah, there we go. In theory, you can actually jump up through there. So you
can surprise the crap out of somebody doing that.
A couple of tweaks we made. I don't remember whether I don't think this was in the original. I think this is new. This is a bridge that lets you drop that bridge.
I thought it was still there. I thought that was there originally.
I can't remember it anymore.
I know
there's another bridge over here.
And then is the sword still underneath the fan?
Oh yeah, of course.
Or inside the fan?
Of course. Oh,
there it is.
No, terrible.
The other thing I got to know, one of the best Easter eggs.
You used to be able to knock that sucker out of there. I hope you still can.
One of the most fun Easter eggs in Halo 2 was the gate control. You'd hit it and it would trigger a blue screen of death, an old Microsoft Windows joke.
I'm sure Microsoft people loved us for that. We had to make a few changes, and nothing to do with the blue screen of death, but this will be interesting. This is all forgeable, so you can actually go back and change this, and you can stick the switch right there if you want to. But we actually wanted to change it. Yeah, so I don't know if I can do it with this weapon, but yeah, the switch is actually over here, and you can hit it at range.
Interesting.
So it's kind of we wanted to make it a little more accessible, a little easier to hit that switch, not so easy to lock it down. So if I should have picked up a weapon along the way here. If you're over here, you can actually get an angle on that thing, and you can trip the gate. But we also want to better associate the switch with the gate for new players who don't really understand that connection. But again, all the stuff is forgeable. You can go back. I don't actually know off the top of my head whether you can still have the blue screen message, but you can definitely put the switch back on its old pedestal if you want. But this is classic Halo right here. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of these features out. I need to go get another weapon. This is not what I want, so let me grab another weapon. I'll show you some stuff over here.
I need a weapon.
That's right.
Sorry, had to do it.
Well, here, this should work.
Yeah,
you can still drop the blinds if you guys recall. You can still drop these guys, and they still behave the same way. You can kind of poke your head out, and all those subtleties are maintained. These guys are still destructible. It'll take a little bit to knock them down.
Cool.
Yep, those guys are still destructible. So all those subtleties.
And those turrets were still up there as well?
You still got rocket ammo hidden out here. But then there's a few changes we made too. Over here, there's some alternate pathing. Let's see if I can do it. Dennis is going to laugh at me. Oh, yay, I made it.
You got it.
So up here to the sniper perch, there's kind of an alternate path. And that's good for getting up there. It's also good as an attack path. Now you can sneak around behind to a sniper camped up here, kind of give you that alternate path.
Good old Camp Froman over here.
Yeah, good old Camp Froman, named after Abe Froman. And this is also new, this kind of alternate kind of path up the side. So, whenever there's a power position we think is a little bit too easy to camp, we try and balance it out a little bit. And, that's a big part of it. But so much of this is, fundamentally, it's the same, and it just looks sexier.
Oh, it looks so good. And before we go, are these tweaks, when you make them, are these tweaks that have been brewing in your head for 10 years, or are they things that you really only started thinking about when you sat down to start this project?
It's a different answer, kind of based on the map. We talked earlier about Zenith and some stuff I wanted to do. On this one, I always wanted to balance out Froman over here, the sniper position, and make it a little easier to kind of attack it. But I don't think I had a specific idea about how to do that. So the team, I just mentioned to the team that I felt it was a little bit overpowered. And then I think Steve Young kind of took point, our lead level designer took point on kind of solving that problem. But it's kind of case by case. There's a few things in here. There's stuff I always wanted to do, but a lot of it's the rest of the team at Certain Affinity, guys at 343 who were really, really tight with Dennis and crew that making suggestions and ideas, and how do we take something that's classic and great in so many ways and make it even better?
And not ruin it.
And not break it. And that's kind of been our philosophy. That's always been my philosophy, is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You get a map like this, and for the most part, it's not broken. A lot of these maps really, surprisingly, worked really, really well. So, don't fix them. We made changes though, made changes to here. Oh, and a few other changes we made over here.
Oh,
some alternate pathing. I don't know if anyone's noticed this yet, but got a sort of alternate way up here. And again,
nice.
It's all Forge stuff, so you can disable this stuff if you don't like it. But, I think the guys took a little bit of liberty and very careful, calculated, deliberate changes.
Well, very cool. This is grab
Yeah.
9 friends, get a one flag CTF game going, and dig up the memories.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
That's gonna be fun. This is this map was made for one flag CTF. It plays well for other games.
It was literally made for that,
It literally
right?
was made for one flag CTF. We had the game working. I'd always wanted to do it. We had it working, but we really didn't have a good showpiece for it. We didn't have a way to really kind of show it off and show how awesome we thought it deserved to be. And then we'll talk about this a little bit later. I think we have it enabled on this map right now, but yep. So we got. Oh, you didn't see that. We'll talk about that later.
All right,
we'll save that for another map.
We'll get to another map.
You didn't see it.
So that is Zanzibar, now known as Stone Town in its anniversary variant.
There we go.
Stay tuned for all 6 of our Halo 2 anniversary map walking tours with Max Hoberman here. So for all things Halo, the Master Chief Collection, you're already in the right place here at IGN.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan.